Well, hi. I want to start off by just asking you how excited you are for this season and what are you looking forward to as being the head coach?
Well, I love going to the movies, okay? And I really enjoy the trailers at the start. It's fun. But then eventually you get to about the 6th or 7th trailer and you just want the movie to start. And that's what it's felt like, recruiting young men that we're really excited about. It's a lot of fun doing the off-season things and getting things planned and watching different aspects. It's fun. But you just want to get to the movie, and today the movie started, and that's what we're all about. So we're excited to be on the grass. That's what makes us come alive. So we're thrilled. We're thrilled to be back.
Hey, Coach Amy from WJCL ABC Savannah. What were your takeaways from the first preseason practice?
First takeaway was we actively tried to build a slightly taller squad, but only 5'9" when you walk in a room, and they are all taller than you, bar maybe one or two. My neck was a wee bit sore, so that was the first takeaway, the fact that I might have them all kneel when I'm talking to them. But the second takeaway was just the enthusiasm and the natural likability of the boys, and the way they approached it was pretty neat to see. You never know when you're talking to them in Zooms and there's a little bit of a facade and acting going on, and you're feeling each other out. But it's a good group of boys, and we're just excited to get to work with them and learn them more. And that's something we'll really delve into in the next couple of weeks, get to know them as people and as players. We're excited about that.
Yeah, finally getting to see them work today on the pitch. How much talent do you see so far on this field?
Well, what happens in day one with the best team in the world and a rec team league? There's similarities. Day one is too hectic. They're full of nervous energy. So it's a case of pulling them back from there a little bit. But when some of the nerves came off, you saw some real quality in there. And we've still got more quality to add, more guys to add to the squad who bring that as well. But day one, I think we're really happy with the starting point, their attitude towards it, the energy they came with. And when you've got that and you need to harness it back, good starting point. If day one you need to put some fire under the backside, then that's an uphill battle. And rarely have we had a squad here that we had to do that. And this group falls in the latter camp. They're ready to go, and we'll just temper them a little bit. And I think tomorrow will be even better than today.
With 6 returners, I believe, this season.
Correct.
Okay, so with those group of guys here to help be leaders on this team, and also so many fresh faces, how do you tackle that?
Well, the 6 returners really help in terms of instilling in the rest of the squad the expectations on our club. How do you act in the community? How do you act on the training field? What do the coaches want? What do the owners want of us? And really, it's just do the right thing and be good people. It boils down to. But they're there to lead and to help. So having returning staff, in terms of Jordan Mealy and Drew DeJohn, who come back, having returning players, help lay the foundation. So it's not just me having chats with everybody. When a peer says it to you, that often carries a lot more weight than a coach. So that's a responsibility in those 6 returners to set the standards themselves on how they plan to go forward and learn from last year's mistakes. And then a bunch of new players, new energy, new enthusiasm, starry-eyed, excited to walk into the clubhouse, excited to walk into the training field, be on the grass. That new energy is something that's really fun to harness. And the last time we had that many new people, we had a very, very exciting year. And we hope that's the same case this year.
I know you have players from all over the world here in states where I'm training with you. I learned today that you also have a player from Hilton Head here training and getting the opportunity to work you guys with the first name being Dodge. Can you talk to me a little bit about him and just what you've seen in him so far and what excites you about seeing him and someone so young getting the opportunity to be here?
Well, we have a lot of really good talents in our academy, and he won't be the last player this season to be elevated up to train with the training squad. But Dodge has had an outstanding last 2 years. But the owners and the coaching staff all agree what he did is in the last year, he's got better and better and better. And every time we've watched him, the boys raised his level more and more. So we had no choice. We want to win a championship, and we have a player that we think can help us win a championship. So it's very simple. It's not bringing a player from the academy. It's, okay, here's a player that can join our pro team and help us win. So when you go into those parameters, very easy. There's other guys in our academy I think that can help us win, and they'll be around their schooling, introduced to the squad. But Dodge is an outstanding talent. He's got the physical attributes and athleticism to play at professional, and he's got the technical side to be able to hang at that higher level. You combine those two things together and he adapts to the environment, which is the next step for him to do. And then we've got something. We've got something that can see the field and can help us. We're excited to see that.
You mentioned the 6 returners. Talk to me a little bit, if you don't mind, about the process of putting together a squad, what you look like, what you look at for players, how you get them here, and how do you feel like you were able to accomplish that this offseason?
I can't sit here and claim that I know exactly how to put together the perfect squad, right? With anything, it's like a multi-factor model, right? And each one of the factors maybe holds a little bit more weight. So some of the characteristics is competency in their position and character. Those 2 things, competency and character, are the 2 biggest barometers that we use in assessing whether somebody fits us, right? So the competency depends on their position, and there's different game model aspects that we have. We want to be athletic enough. We want to be fierce defensively. We want to have a technical team, which is very important to our staff, and our owners have always shared our visualization of being a footballing team that passes the ball and is good on the eye. And then we have to have goals. So there's all these things that go into it. Last year, we felt we were a little short in the set pieces. That was a part of our game model that we had a failing grade on. So we made some moves to rectify that and make sure that we had deliveries. And we brought in a couple of guys who have excellent delivery, a prowess to attack balls. And then on the defensive side, a goalkeeper back line unit who had size and aggression to take care of that piece. And then sustain the other parts that we've had. Like, we've always been quite a high-scoring team. That part we wanted to maintain. We want our fans to see goals. So we look at putting together this big jigsaw and making sure there's no department that we really treasure that's missing. We want a tight, slightly feral team who are aggressive and can act and can play good football. And so we've put together a group of boys that we think can do that, the same way as Jim puts together a group of young women who fit the Tormenta brand in the summertime. And it's a tricky job. Some players say no. Some players surprise us and say, yeah, that's something I'd like to be part of. But character and competency is where we start every single time.
And then what is the process for getting them to gel as a team? Obviously, you brought in players that you feel have tremendous talent and tremendous character. How do you get them to become one unit working as a team as opposed to a collection of talented individuals?
So training field is incredibly important for that, and designing training sessions where teamwork is put at the forefront, competitiveness is put at the forefront. You've got to stress test that so that you learn who reacts certain ways and then make them gel. But we always learn from the players. Last year, I'll give you an example. Last year, at the back end of the season, we watched Nick Akoto and Mukwele Akali, their relationship really grow and their understanding on the field together grow. And I hadn't done anything different. So I asked them, "What is there anything different you guys do?" From the last third of the season, they played computer games with each other a lot more. And through that, I learned, wow, okay, there's another tool that we have at our disposal for guys spending time together. So we're not in a big city. We're in a small community. The guys are in similar housing together. So the more they're together, the more they learn to cohabitate spaces together, to do things in the community together. They'll build trust and respect for each other. And with the foundation of trust and respect, the relationships grow. And that's the foundation of what we try to do on the field and off the field. And hopefully that comes together as the season goes on. And by the last game of the season, we're the tightest group in the league. That's the aim. It helps to win. That winning brings that as well. But we want a foundation of that to begin with.
You know what games they were playing? Were they playing FIFA? Or
no, they were playing these the ones where they played a bit of FIFA, yeah, but I think it's a lot of this Call of Duty stuff and the kind of mass multiplayer stuff where they go into teams and War of Worlds. It's beyond me. It's beyond me what that's never been my forte. But again, that brings around dynamics that are really important. And the owners, the front office, everybody puts a lot of stress on how do we work together to achieve our goal. And that by osmosis filters through the team. And I think it's something we get right, but it's something we have to get right. And we work ever so hard at, and we hope it shines through the field, to be honest.
And then I don't know if I'll get to talk to you again before the next preseason game coming up, like I guess a week from tomorrow, a week from tomorrow.
Yep,
so
a week from tomorrow.
So what do you do between now and then, and what are you looking for in that first game as far as, just evaluating your players? What are you trying to get between now and that first game and after that first game?
So first and foremost, I'd like to plug a little something. We play Mercer University. That's my alma mater. Very, very proud of going to Mercer. And we're excited to bring them in the community. Brad Russo, the head coach there, what a job he does. He built an incredible organisation that continuously puts out a very competitive team. So they were a no-brainer to bring in and give us a real stress test. it's a challenge to sit down as a staff and say, okay, after 8 days of training, what can our expectations be of the group from that in the first game? So we've identified some aspects in possession. We've identified some aspects against the ball that we'd like to see shine through. But really it comes down to attitude and aptitude that the boys display in the field. And the big test is, if the Tampa Bay Rowdies came in, easy for the boys to get up for the game. A college game, sometimes guys become pros and thinks, okay, I'll use this as a bounce game. No. We want to see the guys who say, we're playing somebody today, let's go. I'm getting to wear the Tormenta badge. This is my first time to represent this club. Let's go. I'm going to give everything. So that's a set expectation. It'll be really interesting to see how different guys cope with the first game and their actions to it. That'll kind of teach us, what do we need to work on next? And that's sometimes what the first game gives you. You have an idea of what you have, you put it into action, and then you learn from it and quickly have agility in how you adapt to the next 4 weeks to make sure when a Fuego arrive on March 9th, they'll be ready to go and put a number on them.
So tell me a little bit about the goals that you have. Besides the ultimate goal of winning a championship, what are some of the goals and marks you hope to meet as the season progresses?
Great question. We'll start with the championships. This year we have the Open Cup that we get to contend in. That is absent of MLS teams, I believe. So far is still the case. So we can contend in that at a very top level.
And that's inaugural, was the first one in Germany in season.
I believe so. I mean, it'll go in conjunction with the USL One Cup, but we open up quite quickly with a first round or second round, wherever we're placed in that tournament. The US One Cup is going to be a great new advent to the calendar, something we're really excited about. It gives us a new opportunity, a new cup, the regular season championship, and the championship at the end of the season for USL One. We have 4 cups that we can win this year. So that's a nice starting point to get more silverware to this club. So when somebody walks in our front door, we are indexed to good people, to a really strong community base, and to championships. And our owners often use this rhetoric, and I'll steal it. Well, why not do both, right? And what our mindset is, and we get instilled in that, and I firmly believe in it. That's why I sit here, is let's do both, and let's try and have a group of outstanding men who also win championship, have a group of outstanding women in the summertime and win a championship, and the same with academy. Other things we'd like to see is a team that our community can be really proud of and can resonate with. This is a working class community. This is a community of really talented people who strive and work really hard to try to put Statesboro and the South Georgia area on the map. And our job is to make sure when they come on a Saturday or a Friday night and watch our team, they see a little bit of themselves in that. They see a little bit of this community on the field, and they can relate with it, and they can relate with their boys. And when they see them in the community, in a store and so forth, they get to know that person, then they really value what they bring on the field. So if that emits through, I feel like we've partly done our job.
I got it. Obviously, you lost. You mentioned losing a lot of players this year, whether to new organizations, whatever. I know Pablo Hara was definitely looked upon as a leader among the players from last year. Is it possible to replace that? Is it just a matter of it's a different type of leadership?
Impossible. Absolutely impossible to replicate what Pablo Hara has done for this club. He is, I'd say, other than maybe Darren and Nitra, he has left the biggest indelible mark on this club, and that's no understatement. He has done more for this community, more for this club than I'll ever do, than any one of the players. I hope a player surpasses, but boy, oh boy, what a high level. That man is incredible. I hope one day I get to work with him again. I hope one day, selfishly, he's on my staff one day, or I get to work for him, vice versa. He's incredible. What do we do to replace that? To be quite honest, a lot of people are going to have to step up, because he had such consistency in habits and such professionalism with everything he did. He's one of a kind. So you can't go out to the market and say, okay, let's go and get a Pablo. So instead what you do is you task some returning guys to fill that void bit by bit, and then you try to identify some new players who can come in and take that mantle, but give them the room to grow into it. Every time an organisation loses somebody who's so pivotal, in the first aftermath, you look at it and think, how do we replace that person? But the organisation will rebound. Liverpool, after Jurgen Klopp, will rebuild again and find great value in the next person, and that's what we'll look to do while also treasuring what a game. And when he comes back to our club, I hope we give him the biggest welcome possible, because there's nobody else that deserves it more than that young man.